enough. As good enough.
Welcome to our weekly podcast, Good Enough, with your co-hosts, Sam Lewis and Mark Lips. Our goal on Good Enough is to interview guests who do not let being perfect keep them from achieving their dreams. Whether it be writing a book, growing a business, achieving some other success, all of these people are heartfelt, passionate, and good enough to be noticed and guests on our podcast. We welcome them, and we also thank you for joining us today.
There she is.
I made it.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I have to explain that my buddy, we do an intro before we shoot this, and my buddy had some technical problems.
Oh, okay.
He's out in California, and they've had earthquakes and everything else. And I think he's going to join us. He may just be on the audio part, but either way, he may or may not join us. But anyway, I'm glad to have you on Good Enough.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. Couple things. I wanted to hear more about the book. And by the way, my buddy went out and bought the book.
Oh, he did. Nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's strong, man. That's commitment. So I got a copy of your book, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what's been keeping you busy the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't got there yet, but I'm going to get there. But my friends that have been there have all raved about it. So
awesome.
I'm talking about it. Vivian has opened a new restaurant here in town, and it's Kobe Sushi Bar. I'm not saying the title right.
Kobe Revolving Sushi Bar.
Revolving. I knew I was missing a word.
Yeah.
Think about sushi on a conveyor belt.
Yep.
And it is crazy. I saw videos of it. Listeners, it is crazy. Great idea. And I just, so how things, tell me about the restaurant and leading up to it and where the concept came from. And I mean, there's got to be a ton of work putting in a restaurant, right?
Actually, we were just talking to my business partner who is the owner of Kobe Hibachi Steakhouse. So that's where the Kobe name came from. There's some continuity, so we thought that we should just kind of carry forward. Is the year in the making, be honest or not? I think we start negotiating the lease kind of towards around this time frame, the end of the year, and we didn't get the key until May of 2024 this year. Construction started in July, and we just finished up and able to open up. So Revolving Sushi is not new, or we didn't invent it. It's been around. It's actually very popular in Asia. I'm born and raised in Hong Kong. So they have it out there. Yay.
I told you, he bought your book. Yeah. Mark, this is Vivian. Vivian, this is my friend Mark out in California.
Hi, Vivian. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties.
Well, the truth is,
I don't know what it is, but
he had house cats running on his computer.
I'm going to ask Bao what's going on. So,
well, right now we're talking about, I didn't tell you this, Mark, but she just opened a new restaurant here in town, and it's the Kobe Revolving Sushi Bar.
Wow.
And so
bring one here to Lakeport. We'd love a good sushi bar in Lakeport, but, if you can get sushi in Illinois, I'm sure you can get it here.
Oh, of course.
Well, anyway, she was telling us
She
was telling us about the rigors of opening a restaurant.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe.
Mark's wife is a chef.
Why even here opening a restaurant? You can't. The first 2 years it's 24/7.
Mm-hmm. What part of California are you from?
We're in Northern California now. We bought a little. My wife's a chef, and we have a little. She had a successful catering business down in LA, and then we bought this farm. We bought this farm in Northern California, just above Napa, that has a vineyard and
nice
orchard and all of that, and an event space and a commercial kitchen. And so, we've never had the balls to open a restaurant. No.
Well, that's a lot. A farm, it's a lot. So I used to live in LA, so that's why I was wondering.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, where in LA?
We live in Woodland Hills, but I work in Culver City. So yeah,
Yeah. Overseas fun.
in the valley. Yeah.
So Vivian's restaurant's only been open a short time. You're was what, 2 weeks ago, Vivian?
Wow.
Yeah, around Thanksgiving, like November 21st, when we got all the sign off good to go. So we did a soft opening last week and no, the week before, and then last week was our grand opening. And
So
this
are you doing this with your partner?
Yeah, I was just telling Sam that the name Kobe is because my business partner owned another restaurant in town called Kobe Apache Steakhouse. So we just thought that we just continue that name since it's already pretty well known in the community. It's so thought just reuse the name and call it Revolving Sushi. So yeah.
Well, you're kind of a serial entrepreneur, right?
Trying to.
She is. She's not trying. She is.
Yeah. Wow.
If you look at her LinkedIn page, you know what I'm talking
You
about.
wrote this, which is great. I'm putting this up in our loft for parents to read to their kids and all of that when they stay here. So,
Awesome.
yeah, because we have an Airbnb as well. So,
oh yeah, nice.
do stuff. But
nice. Yeah.
well, I guess Sam's introduced and all of that. I have some questions, Sam. If
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I want Vivian to explore the restaurant space, and then we can go on to this book discussion. But so I know that's Mark, because like Mark says, I mean, I wouldn't have the fortitude to start a restaurant, and this is a big deal, and it's a big thing here in Bloomington. All kinds of people are talking about it. If you get Ken Chu there the first week, you've done some Ken Chu,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you've got, it's interesting that Bloomington, that area is a very, first of all, it's a college area, and it's a very smart area. So you've got a real intelligent crowd there who probably are foodies as well as anything else. And so you're offering them something that they're going to be interested in.
I think that's the idea behind. Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that's the idea behind it is that Bloomington is Bloomington Normal, I guess it's a very small community, but we do have a lot of restaurants. We do have a lot of local and unique restaurants as well. Sushi is not new. Sushi and conveyor belt, it's not new, but we don't have one here in Bloomington Normal. We thought that I always believe in food is just not food, it's an experience that go with the food that get people to keep coming back. And so that's why we feel like the revolving sushi or sushi on a conveyor belt is a good concept for the community, because it get people to keep coming back for the experience and just the food in itself. So
we're in a rural farming agricultural community and county, and as is a lot of the areas up here. But the restaurants, when they'll have certain nights that they bring in fresh fish and they'll offer sushi, and sells out.
Yeah,
because there is no sushi restaurant here.
Right. Yeah.
So you remember Rock and Roll Sushi in LA?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was, you were rocking out while you were.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Yeah,
pretty
there's
fun.
one or short of sushi place in California.
So that now is your partner is trained sushi chef and all of that. So
they have a lot of experience.
It's Billy Bob down the street, Mark. It's not.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because I don't know that I've ever had bluegill on sushi.
Yeah. They have a lot of experience doing sushi, because they also, in addition to hibachi grill, they also offer sushi. So they have more experience in that side than I do.
Now, are you the accounting brains? Are you the financial brains, the wizard behind the?
I think I'm more idea, strategy, sort of coordinator. I have a lot of project management background. I used to work for State Farm, so I've done a lot of those, marketings, a little bit of those. And, I'm very involved in the community, so know a lot of people in town. So that connectivities and knowing who to go to, I feel like it's what I bring to the table. So, yeah.
I'm curious on a small business. Sam, jump in. Actually, Sam, take the rest of the day off.
Before you got on, Vivian, he says, you know this person, you take over the interview today. I don't really have any questions. It's all yours.
Well, these are coming up to the top of my head, especially with small business, right?
And I knew that was bullshit the second he said
it. Like small business, you're involved in that too, Sam, with hiring and all of that. I'm curious, what are the first things you do with small business and you're in? Do you go and join the Chamber of Commerce and get involved with the business associations and all of that? What is the first few steps for a small business that you would maybe tell our listeners if they open a business that they
should? So this is my second or third or fourth small business. But my first idea when I was still working at State Farm was that I would like to open a food hall, which they probably have a lot in California and the West Coast, Texas. So it's kind of like a food court, but they're all independently owned. So as a customer, you get to visit so many different variety of food. So that was our first idea. So I was still working at State Farm. But I don't know a lot of people in the community, so in the small business world. So to your point, yes, the first thing I did, even though I wasn't really have a business open, is to join the Chamber of Commerce, because I feel like that's when I can connect to other people. I can start building relationship. And I think that was the best decision that I made, because I worked for State Farm when I left was 21 years. So I'm in that like State Farm bubble, even though I move around. I was in California, I was in Virginia, but my circle of people in relationship, it's all within my, State Farm world. When I joined the chamber, it's really opened my eyes up to the community. Like, where has this people been all my life? I don't know any of them. Now I probably have double the size of friends that I know. We just have a ribbon cutting a week ago, and the amount of people that come by, it's just amazed, and I'm so blessed and grateful that I joined at the chamber and now have all these people who support the business that I continue to build and grow. And you just can't get that, overnight. So it takes time to build that relationship. So
I think that's where I first met you, was at a chamber event. Is that
I believe so. And we used to have some common friends. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, the chamber in this town, Mark, this because Mark actually was a president of the chamber there in Manhattan Beach, California.
Oh, nice.
And so him and Charlie Moore actually had a conversation or idea sharing time a few years ago. But the Chamber of Commerce in Bloomington Normal is extremely strong. In fact, it just got awarded the Chamber of the Year for Illinois or something like that. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I may get him on the phone then at some point, because chambers are struggling in a lot of areas. And is that the only chamber in the Bloomington Normal? Is there only one chamber?
Yeah, there's only
in McLean County. Yeah, there are like neighboring city, like Champaign has one, Peoria has one, but I think we are the largest in terms of members. Yeah.
Bloomington Normal, there's just the one chamber.
There's just one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The one in Peoria, I think, struggles. I think it struggles, but the one here, Charlie has done a really good job, and now they have a new employee there that I think's moving the ball forward. My daughter Samantha works there now, so she's a receptionist.
It's gonna be hard to keep her on the farm now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd be, so Vivian, the interesting thing is the chamber tries to be all things, and that can be difficult. And then in our area, we're such a spread out county. We're 65,000 people, but we're all around this humongous lake. Mm-hmm. And so to get people to go to a mixer on the other side of the lake, from this side of the lake, is difficult. People don't want to drive all the way over there.
Yeah.
Firstly, they don't want to drive all the way over here. So we just hired a new executive director. She started Monday. So I don't envy them. It's just, and money's tight right now.
Why is money tight right now for Why do you say that? I'm just curious.
Well, first of all, this is a poor county.
Okay.
Second of all, California with all the fees and taxes and everything else, it's just we're not seeing the sponsorships that used to be out there. Maybe that'll come back, but right now the sponsorships and also the volunteerism is down. Getting people in the chamber to volunteer and to have an engaging board that can motivate and have a leader.
I feel we're lucky here, maybe lucky, but the harder you work, the luckier you get. But the chamber's always been a pretty vibrant thing since I've lived here, or since I've been in the business community here. I've been up here a long time, but not in the business directly. But from day one, I walked into chamber meetings like, yeah, this is hopping here.
Well,
so maybe we're lucky in that regard, Vivian. I don't know.
Well, Vivian, what's a good chamber for you? What are the things that you look for, that you would look for in a chamber that they do for you, that you find it's almost a must buy because the ROI is so strong?
That's a good question. I would say there's also I have heard a lot of things about how chamber doesn't work for a lot of people. So restaurant is really hard. If you own a restaurant and want to engage in all these activities, it's just almost impossible to do, right? Because you're always 24/7 in a restaurant. So you don't probably see the benefit as much. To me, I think the networking part, the support portion of it, the availability, or for me to reach out to other members, the ease of doing that, and being able to maybe one thing I don't like, I feel like I always have to pay for something. So if there are some add-ons where I can still get the benefit, but I don't have to pay for everything. I think accessibility. I feel like the staff at the chambers are very accessible. If I have questions, I can email and I usually get a response back pretty quickly. I think the make me feel like a community, even though I'm not able to go to all the event. I still feel like if I pick up a phone call and call anyone that I met before, they would probably show up for me. They would be there for me. So I don't know that necessarily the chamber job, but I think they did a good job of building a pretty good community within the chamber that everyone feel like that everyone is sort of supporting you. Like I said, I do wish they have sort of like a lower level of membership for like restaurant owner, where they probably can't attend all this event, but they can still take advantage of all the help spread the word advertising part of the deal.
How do they do it there? They don't do it per employee. They don't say a 1 to 5 pays this amount of employees.
No, it's just a flat amount. Yeah.
Right, for everybody.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hard, like especially minority restaurant owner, right? These are really the small business owner. They are like grinding it every day, right? So they would probably appreciate some advertising, but even 300 or something, it's not a lot of money a year, but in the grand scheme of thing, it could be, right? It could be able to maybe buy additional ingredients or, pay someone to do something. So
well,
it could
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. We have very few businesses from the West Side in the chamber. And the West Side is kind of the minority side. I don't know if you know this, but at one time there was a Black Chamber of Commerce here. And not that long ago, and they kind of, they really didn't have a lot of support, and it was kind of sputtering. But we haven't been able. I don't think the chamber's been able to, capture their support. And I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. I think that's an opportunity for the chamber maybe going forward, is to somehow get the West Side businesses, involved with the rest of the chamber. But
or
I get it.
More diversity based member.
Yeah,
I guess, Bloomington Normal, it's not as diverse as California. I mean, that's just how the community is. But
it's more diverse than Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Right.
That's where Mark and I are from, Mount Vernon,
No,
Illinois.
they would tell you up here the diversity is,
I didn't see that much diversity in your county, Mark, when we were just running around.
no, that's what I mean.
Pretty homogenous to me, but Bloomington is, with State Farm's influence, it's been more diverse than you would imagine a farming town would be.
Well, you got to remember our community is agricultural, and you have a college. We don't have anything like that, which I'm pushing for. I'm on an advisory committee for a 20-year plan, and I'm saying we got to get a 4-year school here. That will lift up that will really lift the community. It will help small businesses, all of that. The halo effect of a university brings a lot of people. But our minorities are Hispanic and Native American. Mm-hmm. So, and the Native American issues, are something that is always, something we've got to help with here. Because
I always said this about is there a reservation near you, Mark?
They're all, absolutely. We're the big valley just down the street. In fact, they just had a grand opening of a whole big, where do you see this when you get here? Gas and car wash and boat wash and Starbucks and the whole thing. And it was a soft opening, invitation only sort of thing. But I've
always said that until you get on a reservation, then you start to realize the past is, like Faulkner said, not even the past. It's still, it's right here, right? So
it's funny what, but anyway, that's a whole
other episode.
Other episode.
Right. Maybe one I don't even want to be involved in.
Happened. And our big controversy that's going on right now is the name change with Kelseyville, which is a little farming community here. We're just a bunch of little communities, but we're like one big, we're a county that's made up of all these little communities, but we act as like one big community, and Kelseyville is an unincorporated town, and it's a very cool town, but the person it was named after was a very evil guy going in 1949. And so they're trying to get it changed to Konocti, an Indian or a Native American name, and which is the volcano, Konocti volcano. And boy, did that just create divides, friend against friend and neighbors against neighbors. And, some people want it, some people not. And, getting it put on, and it's the Board of Geographic Names that's going to be making the decision on it. It has nothing to do, but they pushed the supervisors, and they weighed in on it yesterday and voted for the name change. And of course, that just pissed off a lot of people, because it wound up on the ballot. And I loved what one of our former supervisors said, because it wound up, they put it on the ballot, and 70% of the voters overwhelmingly said, do not change the name. But remember, this guy said yesterday, he said, you got to remember, the supervisors voted to change the name, even though 70% of their constituents said, we don't want it to change. But he said, listen, if we left everything up to the majority vote, we'd still have slavery. Wow. That's a good point, right? Mm-hmm. If we left it up to the majority back in those days, the percentage of white versus non-white or whatever, we'd still have slavery.
Well, you open the DEI can of
you
open the DEI can of worms, and the reason why I asked Vivian to be on here, Vivian was gracious enough to come to our SHRM chapter. I've been wanting to do this for years, do a poetry reading for DEI month for SHRM. And so they've made fun of me and ridiculed me and belittled me. And my ego has hardly left any ego left to me at all. But finally somebody said, we ought to do a poetry reading for SHRM. I was like, yeah, that's a wonderful idea. So we did it at the McLean County Arts Center, and Vivian came up and spoke, and Vivian, you did a wonderful job. I mean, it was, and she just told a story about her son and about, and that's what I want the DEI programs to be, sort of an eye-opening thing, like in the shoes of someone else, and they get, oh, it's not just this name change, it's the things that go along with being this person in this world. So I wanted to ask you about, the book, what generated your ideas for, doing a book is it's not an easy thing. And so I obviously you feel passionate. Why don't you tell us about the book and hold the book up, Mark, for our watchers, not our listeners. He's holding up.
So the book, I want to lighten the subject.
3 days.
I want to lighten the subject of diversity and inclusion. So I thought, I own Bao Destination, which I make steam bun. So I thought that I create a character after Bao and maybe bring the story a little bit light and fun. By all means, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer at all. I actually didn't really do good in school. But I kind of sort of have that things in me. Like when I turned 50, I have a list of bucket list thing I wanted to do, and one of them was to write a children's book. I said, well, I watch a lot of YouTube video. You can actually self-publish books, so I don't have to go find a publisher. I can just write it. As long as someone will illustrate it, I can get it self-published in Amazon. So I'm like, okay, let's just do it. Still, it took me more than 6 months to get it done. One night, I just write it all out and then spend like up till 2 a.m. to get all the graphic in, put it together, and then upload on Amazon, and there you go. It's really inspired by just my kids, how we talk about, I live in Bloomington, Normal, not just by the name itself, the look itself tell me that I'm a minority in Bloomington, Normal. So I'm an adult, so I can deal with a lot of public adversity or discrimination or racist remark. But it's disheartening to hear that my kids are going through it, even though they're born and raised America. People think that I adopt them, I bring in from another country. Even teacher will question, do they need ESL? I said, no, I need ESL. They don't need ESL. And they're born and raised here. Just because they look different doesn't mean that
You get that? You get that?
Oh, I do all the time. My kids all the time.
It just amazes me.
All the time.
Amazes.
Even, I have parents, like kids' parents, like sitting just in a football game. I wasn't there. My husband was. And the mom asked my husband, it's like, where are you originally from? I said, that questions have a lot of problems for me. What does original even mean?
Yeah.
Just ask me, where are you from? Are you from Bloomington, New York, California, whatever? That would be an entirely different answer. But once you throw in the word original, that imply I'm not from United States of America. What if I'm not? It's fine. Maybe it's an educational process. I'm happy to do that. But when you add that work, it just kind of fired me up, and I don't even want to answer that question anymore.
What if they said, what is your origin story? Would that be better, or is that still hurtful? Because what? That is a very common. I just saw a video the other day, and it was this, Midwestern looking white guy, he was on a bridge, and this lady had just been running and all of that.
Yeah.
See that? And he goes, so where are you from? She goes, whatever, a town right there, He goes, no, where are you from? And he goes, right here.
Right here. Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah.
And then she finally, after he really dug a hole for himself, she finally said, well, where are you from? And he goes, well, from, no, where are you from? He goes, and also when she finally said, well, my great grandparents were from, China or someplace, he goes, oh, and he started using Chinese phrases. And then she goes, well, where are you from? And he goes, well, I'm from right over here. No, where are you from? Yeah. He goes, and eventually he said, well, my great from Germany. Oh no, from England. And she goes, oh, no, doing all this, English phrases, stuff like that, and really got our point across. It was really great. I was gonna.
Vivian told a story at the event about being it was a bank, and
Oh yeah, when I first moved
go ahead and
back
tell that
to
story.
Bloomington, because I mean they don't have Bank of America in Bloomington, so I have to open a Chase account such as so I can get money instead of paying for bank fees. And then I didn't realize until I left, I mean the whole time she was speaking really slow and really loud at me, and I was like, "What the hell?" I mean, I don't get
Oh,
it.
oh my gosh. See, that's but
I,
that's
I I wanted to be sad
Well,
about that, but it was such a funny story that she later. I love the part she goes. It was later I realized she was speaking loud and slow.
yeah. No, but you know what? That is where the ignorance comes now. It's not. I don't know that it's anymore. I mean, you hear about the hate crimes now, but occasionally and stuff like that. I don't know how serious that is with where you are, but people do not realize what they're saying and what they're doing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when you ask that question about like how would you ask that question, I think there a difference between being curious and just ignorance, right? So maybe when she asked that question, she didn't realize what it implied. Or maybe she does. I don't know.
I
It was
doubt.
hard to really
Actually,
understand her intention anymore because she inserted the word original. You know what I mean?
do you think though? Okay, let's bring it home to you.
Yeah.
Do you think they're wondering, is she Korean? Is she Japanese? Is she Chinese? Is she, uh,
And I think if she would have flat out just asked that question, there would be an entirely different story. You know what I mean?
so
So,
that's good. You know what? That's a good point. That
I,
is
here's here's my thing, and I've done this several times. Somebody they'll have an accent. I said, you got an accent. It sounds like maybe you're from down south. When obviously they're Asian or something. So it puts them. They think I'm going one direction with it, and then I go, you sound like you're from Georgia or something.
mhm.
Then they always like, what?
well, there's ignorant and then there's stupid, Sam. There's
I know it's my stupid joke. So I just try to keep it light, right?
well, that's me. My security blanket is trying to be is humor. Okay. So listen, back to the book. By the
Yes.
way, our time. What time is it, Sam? Our time will go. Vivian, our time
We got
goes.
less than 8 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what I was thinking, Vivian.
Yeah.
Here's what I was thinking. When you creatively put this together, how did you decide who were the bad guys? You made
Oh.
you made hot dog a bad guy. You made meatball a bad guy. You made So I'm going. I like hot dogs. I like meatball. Uh, but how did you
That's a good, Mark.
decide?
I'm gonna say that's a good question. Well done, sir.
I mean, how did you decide who are the bad guys when it comes to food and who are the? Did you? Well, you know,
I think in some way the character kind of may be underlyingly associated with a specific group, I guess. So that's why I'm hiding behind
find the
food. But
personality.
if you look deeper, you can tell, right? Because all Bao friends is sushi, egg roll, and samosa.
So you're sticking. Okay, but okay. So what you're doing is you're placing one group of foods in one culture, another group of foods in the other culture, and then you're coaching those two cultures to live together.
Yeah, because it's in some way it's a
Accept each
story.
other.
Yeah, it's a story
Okay.
about,
Yeah.
those are food that people would resonate with, I guess. If you think of hot dog, you resonate whatever that food is associated with. But the ending of it, it somehow is basically two sides of it, right? Sometimes that I may not make a lot of assumption when I first see Sam, I may make this all assumption about him without getting to know him. It's the same in the book, right? They don't know anything about hot dog. They also just make an assumption just because he's mean doesn't mean he doesn't have all these things. And once you get to know each other, you find out that there's a lot of things in common, or there are surprises that you don't know that you can connect to. I think that's kind of really is the premises of the book is, once you get to know someone and understand and ask questions that we can build a friendship. It's not just from the surface. So stop making assumption, basically. So
Well, you didn't rehabilitate the meatballs, did you?
We'll pick on meatballs. I like
They're
meatballs.
still bad guys.
Yeah.
They're being bullies, the meatballs. But I am okay. So here's another thought. Sam knows this. Are you a member of Rotary by any chance?
I was once, but I couldn't go to early meetings, so I left.
Fine. Sam was kicked out. We give away dictionaries to third graders.
Oh, okay.
I would talk to your local Rotary clubs about giving each one of these to a first grader, second grader.
That's a great idea, Mark.
Or first grader, kindergarten, just learning to read.
Yeah.
That's
give them
a good question, a great idea in this.
But give them a whole, give them a volume discount on the price, and give this out to every kindergarten or first grade class.
Bloomington.
What age range is this, you think?
3 to probably 8 or 9, I think.
Okay.
I was at Cedar Ridge School. They invited me elementary school here, and I read the books to a group of very, very diverse students. And I gave them 10 books. I say, if you need more, just let me know. I'm happy to kind of donate or.
Well, I started giving out the National Geographic Y book to third graders through our Rotary. Stopped giving out dictionaries because that just seems so boring to me for a third grader. But if you did this to all the schools, all the first graders, and get a hold of the whoever runs the whole shebang and say, how many first graders are there?
Yeah.
Did the Daybreak Rotary give out dictionaries, Vivian? Were you in Daybreak?
Me? No, I started with Sunrise.
And Sunrise, did they give out dictionaries?
I don't know.
I know our Rotary did, the Noon Bloomington Rotary.
Oh, the one with Doug Johnson?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Most of the Rotaries do have that, but I'm on this kick and I've gotten a few Rotary clubs of Northern California to stop doing the dictionaries to do Nat Geo Y books, 1,100 questions. And just is more picturesque. It's, more fun. Why is a football called a pigskin? Things like that. And there's pictures and
nice.
So the person is learning and soaking up information. Plus, I guarantee you, brothers and sisters are looking over their shoulders. Parents are to pick it up too, and it's once you go into it, it's like a book of YouTube. It's just fun. But the message with this is really needs to get out there that get to know, no matter if they don't look like you, get to know them because you might find out that you guys really are best of friends because of life.
Yeah.
Ideas, So
we'll put the link. I'll put the link on our YouTube to your book on Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we're down to less than 2 minutes. What I have to do now is we have to take a picture, so to speak. So act like we're taking a picture. Everybody smile at the camera for a second. Okay. So, Vivian, I'm so delighted to have you on here. And
thank you so much.
I know you got 100 fires going on right now. Hope none of them are in your kitchen at the restaurant. But I know you took a.
Don't talk fires out here. Don't talk fires out here.
Yeah, well, you had earthquakes, didn't you?
Earthquake, fires. We've been getting it all lately, and I'm waiting for a swarm of locusts to come flying through. But So Vivian, I am so impressed with you. You are just
thank
impressive.
you, Mark.
Where are you from?
Bloomington.
Bloomington Normal. Bloomington Normal.
I'm gonna check out the restaurant. I can't wait. I don't know.
Yeah, please do come by.
I don't know if I'm gonna get Ken Chu to go with me and give me a rundown of everything, but he's one of my, I don't know if you know him well, but he's one of my favorite guys. He's a very interesting guy for me. And maybe we should have Ken Chu on here, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm trying to still figure out how I can get to this book into the schools here, maybe. But
Yeah.
the nice thing about there is you are the author, and you can go in. That gives it that really resonates with the schools too, because it's not only saying diversity, but it's also saying you too can write a book.
Yep. Exactly.
We got to say our goodbyes now. We're going to get cut off. Vivian, I thank you so much. Mark, I thank you. Stay safe out there in the danger zone in California.
All right.
Hey, come and visit, Vivian. Come and visit.
I will. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.
Good. 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 Enough. As good enough.